Today, in the media conference with Lal Goel, which is brought to you by V4 News, Karu News, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV India, News Gaon Se, Samvad Sarokar News, Bharat Post News, Gyan and Organ Donation India Foundation. Our endeavor is to enlighten you with the current topic, and today's topic is not only current but very, very relevant. Although it's very unfortunate that we are discussing this topic, but we have no other option. We have to discuss this topic, and the topic is old age home, curse or boon. A retirement home, sometimes called an old people's home or old age home, although old people's home can also refer to a nursing home, is a multi-residence housing facility intended for the elderly. Typically, each person or couple in the home has an apartment-style room or suites of rooms. Additional facilities are provided within the building. This can include facilities for meals, gatherings, recreation activities, and some form of health or hospital care. A place in a retirement home can be paid for on a rental basis like an apartment, or can be bought in perpetuity on the same basis as a condominium. Now the question is, why old age homes? We once lived unitedly as a joint family under one roof with different blood relatives, father, mother, grandma, grandpa, uncle, auntie, grandchildren, and many more. Now living a pathetic life of loneliness. For generations, India had a prevailing tradition of the joint Hindu family or undivided family. The system is an extended family arrangement prevalent throughout the Indian subcontinent, particularly in India, consisting of many generations living in the same home, all bound by the common relationship. The family is headed by a senior person called a Karta, usually the oldest male or female, who makes decisions on economic and social matters on behalf of the entire family. The patriarch's wife generally exerts control over the household and minor religious practices, and often wields considerable influence in domestic matters. Family income flows into a common pool from which resources are drawn to meet the need of all members, which are regulated by the heads of the family. However, with urbanization and economic development, India has witnessed a breakup of the traditional joint family into a more nuclear-like families, and the traditional joint family in India accounted for a small number of Indian households. Today, the joint family system is slowly fading away and soon become extinct. According to population census 2011, there are nearly 104 million elderly persons ages 60 years or above in India, 53 million females and 51 million males. A report released by the United Nations Population Fund and HelpAge India suggests that the number of elderly persons is expected to grow to 173 million by 2026. Currently, 71% of the elderly population resides in urban areas, while 29% are in rural areas. With the changing times, children move out to different cities or even different countries with the aim of gaining better living aspects, leaving behind their parents for whom it is not possible to adjust with the lifestyle changes which migration brings. In some cases, while the parents agree to move in with their children, in other cases, it is observed that when parents age, children starts to see them as a burden and a responsibility, and they want to get rid of, which lead them in abandoning their own parents. Currently, there are 728 old age homes, that is the figures up to 2021 in India, with the information available for 547 homes, out of which 325 homes accommodates elderly people free of cost, while 95 other charges for the accommodations, while nearly 110 other homes have both free as well as paid staying facility available. Kerala, the state which has the highest literacy rate in India, is also reported to have the highest number of old age homes, that is 278. There are many reasons for that. The first, lifestyle of present day youngsters. with the introduction of many electronic gadgets like computers, mobile phones, video games, and with many other such electronic gadgets, the younger generation is slowly moving away from the attachment of family bonding and gets glued to such electronic items, ignoring their elders and staying away separately. Secondly, once after marriage, men are slowly moving away from their parents. Reasons may be many, but the main reason, which is seen in many houses, is the newly married young women in such homes forces their husbands to come out of such bonding called joint family and wants to lead an independent life away from her in-laws. Do not know why they want to avoid their aged in-laws. They send their elders to old age home to spend their balanced life. Now, to discuss this very, very critical issue, very sensitive issue, and very relevant issue, that is old age home, curse or boon, we have a very elect, knowledgeable, those who are dealing directly or indirectly, or either they have aged, they have become elderly, or they are going to become, or they are having their parents, elderlies, or they are seeing in the society. Panelists are with us. I would like to invite my first panelist guest, and he is Advocate K.C. Jain. Advocate K.C. Jain is a renowned social activist and Supreme Court lawyer. He is practicing law for last 42 years on the civil side. He appeared in Supreme Court and Allahabad High Court in several important cases. He is active on various social platforms of the city of Agra. He filed several PILs in Supreme Court regarding the RTI Act, etc. Recently also, he filed a petition relating to road safety. His large number of articles were published in law journals. His articles were also published in many newspapers on various subjects, including environment, RTI, culture, etc. He has varied interest, especially in RTI and environment. Welcome, Advocate K.C. Jain, on our show. Advocate Jain, as you have asked, because you have to go somewhere, so I am taking you at the first before Professor Dr. Sudhir Saran. And I would like to inform all our panelist guests that today's topic is especially I have kept because yesterday morning only, Advocate Jain has sent me a press report of Amar Ujala of Agra, where it was shown how the young generation or the children have thrown away their parents, and the parents are in a very, very pathetic conditions in a old age homes in UP in Agra, and the conditions is all described in that, and that struck to me. Plus, clubbed with the fact that last Sunday we have kept one program, and that was on the Father's Day, and that also we have discussed this very, very important point, that why we are sending our elders or the seniors to the old age home. But we promised last time also that we will do it on a full program on this to see the merits and demerits, whether as our topic very clearly says, old age home, curse or boon. So I would like to invite my first panelist guest, Advocate A.C. Jain, to talk on this particular topic, that is old age home, curse or boon. Advocate K.C. Jain, please.
Thank you, Mr. Lal Goel, for inviting me and giving me a wonderful opportunity to share my views. I'm also thankful for giving me an opportunity to speak first, because I have to go to a doctor. Thank you very much. The topic, old age home, curse or boon. When you consider it from Indian perspective, no one can say that it is a boon. Everybody's opinion would be that it is a curse. But who is responsible for this curse? And why it is a curse? I believe that when your report presented at the very outset of the program elaborately details the reasons and the backdrop of the issue. We all have the rich cultural heritage of joint family or living with our parents. We never conceived that we would start living without our parents at an early age or even at late age. We have always seen our parents living with their parents, that is our grandparents, and we never conceive a situation where we can live without parents. But most unfortunately, lately the impact of the westernization, we do see that the younger people are not prepared to live with their parents. लेकिन मैं तो कहूंगा, कहते हैं ना कि बोया पेड़ बबूल का तो आम कहां से खाए। जो हमने सांस्कृतिक विरासत अपने बच्चों को दी है, उसी के परिणाम हमारे सामने आने हैं। एक कहानी छोटी सी मैं इस ओकेजन पर बताना चाहूंगा कि एक माता पिता अपने माता पिता को मिट्टी के बर्तन में खाना खिलाते थे। क्या देखते हैं वो एक दिन कि उनका बेटा, छोटा बेटा जो 7-8 साल का था, वो भी एक मिट्टी का बर्तन बना रहा है। तो उसके फादर ने पूछा कि ये मिट्टी का बर्तन क्यों बना रहे हो? उसने कहा कि जब आप बूढ़े हो जाएंगे तो आपको भी मेरे को मिट्टी के बर्तन में खाना देना होगा, इसलिए मैं पहले से बर्तन बना ले रहा हूं। तो जो वैल्यूज which we have imparted to our children, they are being faced. चाहे वो girls को हो, whether it is the values to our daughters or values to our sons. Our daughters become the daughter-in-law in other family.
I think we have lost the connection with Advocate Jain. Advocate Jain, the connection has been lost. So we will come back to him once his connection. This is a problem nowadays. I don't know how we are doing the online education in India when such types of still in a city like Agra, which is supposed to be one of the second biggest city of Uttar Pradesh, if they are facing the problem of network, what will be the situation anyway? So thank you, Advocate Jain. We will definitely take you once your connection will be there. Now I would like to invite my next panelist guest, and he is Professor Dr. Sudhir Saran. Okay, he's again joining. This is a big problem for a person like me to host the program. Yeah, Advocate Jain, are you there?
Yes, I'm sorry. There was an interruption, and because I'm doing it. Therefore, जो हमने अपनी वैल्यूज अपने बच्चों को दी हैं, चाहे वो बेटियों को दी हैं, चाहे बेटों को दी हैं, वो हमारे सामने आती हैं, क्योंकि हमारी बेटियां ही दूसरे घर की पुत्र वधू बनेंगी, डॉटर इन लॉ बनेंगी। तो यदि हमने उनको अपने पेरेंट्स को रिस्पेक्ट करने के लिए कम हमने उनको वैल्यूज पास ऑन की है, तो वो रिस्पेक्ट नहीं कर रहे हैं। तो बेसिकली इस सिस्टम के लिए जो चेंज इन द सोसाइटी विच वी आर विटनेसिंग is the outcome of how the parents are today behaving with their parents. Ultimately, that is being emulated by the younger generation. Therefore, we need to introspect that who is responsible for this degradation in the values. Then we will find probably it is our own behavior. We don't have a greater interaction with the younger generation. The situation in the rural area and urban area may be different. In rural area, people don't have greater respect for their parents. Once the younger generation becomes powerful and earning, they have lesser respect to the elder people. And in urban areas, if you talk about, then the situation is different, because here the younger generation wants to go for better place for in the search of their professional excellence and professional assignments. Point is whether the children who are of a smaller towns and they want to go for a job in a bigger city, whether their parents would go with them, or they are to give up their children are to give up their such assignments. Ultimately, it is a difficult choice. The parents don't want to come in the way of their children's progress, and the children also have their own ambitions and expectations. Therefore, this dilemma which the younger generation faces has to be answered in an appropriate way. in an appropriate manner. I think the uh, the need for old age home can be viewed differently from different angle also, where the elderly people don't go to age old homes because of being compelled. It is one situation where the children don't want to keep their elderly mother or father, and they oust them from their home, and the elderly people are forced to go to the old age home. And secondly is when they go by choice that choice from the point of view that, and they think that because the children are out of town and they are better secured, better living in old age home. Therefore, these two angles, whether the elderly people go because of compulsion or they go out of their sweet will for a better living, these both of these situations are to be viewed differently. But nevertheless, the fact remains that old age home can never be a choice of any elderly person. Everybody wants to be cared by his or her children, and in the sunset years of their lives, they want to be close to their children, for whose progress and for whose caring they have spent their youth and the money and all the efforts they have put into to bring them up. Therefore, the old age homes can never be the choice of the elders, but it has become compulsion for the people whose children are in abroad or in metropolitan cities, and they are in a comparatively smaller cities. I would say that the children have to take a call whether they are to live with their parents or they are to go abroad for in search of better professional avenues. But I feel that mostly the children must stay with their parents. They must take care of they must take their care in their old age, because that is the expectation of every parent, that the children should be with them when they breathe last, or when they have difficult time because of because of being old. तो इन सब चीजों को देखते हुए बच्चों को और पेरेंट्स को निर्णय लेना है. मैं किसी भी तरीके से ये नहीं कहूंगा कि ओल्ड एज होम कोई बून है तो कर्ज ही, लेकिन सोसाइटी के चेंज की वजह से it has become something very essential in a case where the children are staying away abroad or some other city. तो लेकिन यदि कंपल्शन है तो एक अच्छी लिविंग हो, अच्छे ओल्ड एज होम्स हो जहां पर मेडिकल केयर हो, जहां पर रिक्रिएशन और एंटरटेनमेंट के साधन हो, जहां पर अच्छा खाना हो, जहां पर अच्छा एनवायरनमेंट हो, जहां म्यूजिक हो, जहां पर वो जीवन के आखिरी दिन अच्छी तरह गुजार सके. तो ये एक कर्ज होते हुए भी इंडिस्पेंसेबल है, क्योंकि अल्टीमेटली ओल्ड पर्सन्स कहाँ जाएं, घर में रहते हैं तो असुरक्षित हैं, they are unsecured. There are so many incidences of crime which we read in the newspapers, that the elderly people are being murdered or elderly people are being robbed, and all such crimes we read in the newspapers. Therefore, old age homes, we cannot do away from the society as a whole. सोसाइटी से हम कहें कि हम बंद कर दें और वो लोग, तो ये भी आज पॉसिबल नहीं है. कल्चरल चेंज को हमको एक्सेप्ट करना पड़ेगा, और कल्चरल चेंज को एक्सेप्ट करते हुए उन्हें एक बेहतर जगह बनानी पड़ेगी जहां पर के वृद्ध लोग आराम से रह सके. यद्यपि ये एक सामाजिक व्यवस्था के लिए एक अच्छी बात नहीं है, लेकिन परिवर्तन और बदलाव को हमें स्वीकार करना होगा और अच्छे वृद्ध आश्रम बनाकर हम उनके लिए उनके जीवन के आखिरी साल बेहतर तरीके से गुजारने का एक मौका दे सकेंगी, जहां पर वो अपने हम उम्र के लोगों के साथ में बात कर सकें, समय व्यतीत कर सकें, मनोरंजन के कुछ साधन हो और जीवन उनका अच्छी तरह कट सके। तो इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ आई क्लोज माय स्टेटमेंट एंड आई वुड से दैट इट इज अ कर्स, बट इन द चेंजिंग सोसाइटी वी आर टू एक्सेप्ट इट एंड there is no other alternative. The Western world has accepted it long back, and we are but to accept it. But if we want to stop it, then definitely we should give better values to our younger generation who appreciates and understands our feeling, the feeling of the elderly people, and accordingly behave. Thank you very much, Mr. Lal.
बोया बोया पेड़ बबूल का तो आम कांटे खाए was the saying which was quoted by Advocate Jain. And Advocate Jain said that the culture, what we have imparted to our younger generation, the same thing they are going to do give back to us. Means that the younger generation, what they are watching today, how the elder generation is treating their parents, same way the younger generation treat the parents. But he has put a caveat. He says that because of the development, the things have changed and the opportunities are there, children are going, and he says the government should take care, see to it that the conditions of the old age home should be good. As Advocate Jain said that he has to go to the doctor, so I would like to ask first questions to him so that he can go freely. Advocate Jain, are you there?
I'm here.
Jain?
Yes, I am here.
Yeah. So my first question to you is, Advocate Jain, you mentioned that the children are going here and there, they are going abroad, they're going to the metro cities, so they do not want to take the burden of their parents. My first question to you is, when the children were born and when they were young, the parents also have the same feeling that why should we take these children with us? They are burden on us. Why we take them here and there with us or keep them with our at our own home and send them to a young generation home or the hostels for the lifelong as soon as they are born, instead of keeping them? Because when the children can feel the same burden to the elderly should also feel the same thing to the children. What do you say about this, Advocate Jain?
Mr. Lal, I would say that the relationship of father with his son or daughter is much, much bigger as compared to the relationship of son or daughter with his father or mother. Parents' love cannot be compared with any other love, but children's love for their parents, once they are married, gets diminished. It is a fact. And therefore, the attitude of parents for the children would be different than what children's attitude for their parents would be. And this stark reality we have to accept when the the boy gets married to a girl, then the love and affection which he had for his parents gets 50% discount. And because
Advocate Jain, this 50% discount word which you have used was not there about 40, 50 or 60 years back or 30 years back, or it's a special offer now, like Amazon has given offer or Flipkart has given offer that this is a 50% discount for the new generation to throw away their parents to go and languish in a old age home. It might be 5-star hotel or like facility. What difference it makes? The children can also be thrown away when they are born. And I think what you are saying that this love and affection, we have seen, the history says that Shravan Kumar was also there, who has shown the degree of respect and love for their parents. So do you think this generation, this diminishing of the cultural value or the moral value is because of the urbanization and the economic development? If it is so my question to you is, as a devil's advocate, are you against the economic development or urbanization? After all, if it is a must, we have seen How the environment has been spoiled means it's spoiled. Let it go, become totally, our conditions, living condition go become hell. Similarly, in this condition, let the old age people should go and languish in a old age home. Why you are having worry about that?
मैं तो ये कहना चाहूंगा कि हमारा विरोध आर्थिक विकास से नहीं है. आई एम नॉट अपोजिंग द इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट. What I'm opposing and what I'm concerned about is how far we are able to pass on family values, cultural values to our younger generation. श्रवण कुमार की मैरिज यदि आज की लड़की से होती जो दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी से पढ़कर आई होती, तो वो अपने कंधे पर लटका के माँ बाप को नहीं ले जाते.
Advocate Jain, I think you are passing such a somebody may file, although you are an advocate, so nobody will file, but it's a very defamation. You can't say that the Delhi University girls. No, I think what you have mentioned earlier was very correct, that the family values, the values which were given, imparted, whether the girl or boy is staying in a rural area or urban area, if the values by the parents or the grandparents were given, so they cannot do as you have said. Now, my next question to you as an advocate: we have seen the cases when the parents, out of love and affection, transfer their properties to the children. Then only this problem starts, because if they knows that the father's provident fund, gratuity, all the properties in the name of father or mother is there, they give respect, until unless they become so weak that they try to bully them, or they try to force them to sign that transfer. Don't you think government should ban all transfers till a person is alive to his own children, till he is alive, or to anyone? He can will it, no problem, but not transfer. So, and we have seen the case of Singhania family of JK Group, JK Group, very famous Vijayapat Singhania and Gautam Singhania, that how he was thrown away from the house, become penniless because he transferred all the shares of his companies to Gautam Singhania. What do you say about this, Advocate Jain?
I would say that it is not for the legislature to put a ban like this, but it is for the parents to consider whether they should transfer their property during their lifetime. Ultimately, the wisdom of the parents is to prevail. They must understand that if they pass on all their properties to their children, then all the possibilities are there that the daughter-in-laws especially and their children may not respect them or may not give what is due to them, due from the point of view of respect, care, medical care, and all that. Therefore, I would say that the parents must be quite cautious and careful not to give their entire property and become penniless during their lifetime. They must retain properties with them, so that in the hope of getting that property, the children may keep serving like daughter or son to their parents. Though it is a tactical way, but sometimes one has to be practical, that if you don't expect something from anyone, then you don't serve. You don't have any attraction of having good relations with him. Therefore, I fully agree with you that the parents must keep the properties with them. However, the legislature may not intervene and may not do so, but the parents must be wise enough to take a call at appropriate time and in an appropriate manner.
Thank you very much, Advocate Jain. And you have given one more hint to the parents that reduce the love to 50%. The offer should be from the parents also, that they should not be blind in the children's. And we have seen how our history says very clearly that the child love is always harmful, whether economically, politically, or socially. We are seeing even today, nowadays also. So thank you very much, Advocate Jain. And I hope that everything will be fine with you. Your visit to the doctor is the routine one. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now I would like to invite my next panelist guest, and he is Professor Dr. Sudhir Saran. Professor Dr. Sudhir Saran is the former visiting professor IIM Lucknow and University of Texas at Dallas, USA. He is the founder of Dr. Sharan Consultancy, California, USA. He is the director of Aldo Private Limited, New Delhi. He has done his MBA from IIM Ahmedabad in 1980. He did PhD in 1986. He started teaching and researching business and entrepreneurship since 1984. He published research papers in reputed journals, international seminar proceedings, and chapters in books of readings. He started academic administration phase as dean in 1997, rising to executive director, controlling management and engineering institutes in 2007. Her Highness Governor of Karnataka nominated Dr. Sharan to the Senate of Bangalore University in recognition of his distinguished academic contributions. He was visiting professor to University of Texas at Dallas from 2012 to 2019. He also visited Washington State University and President University, Indonesia, on the invitation of the Dean Faculty of Business in 2018. He innovated and implemented a unique model to double the turnover with existing infrastructure in one accounting year. He is co-promoter of Institute of Family Business Management Society. He is honorary director of NCR Delhi-based high-tech B2B digital startup. He is also co-founder of OWGI Foundation, which promotes social entrepreneurship ventures. Welcome, Professor Dr. Sudhir Saran on our show. Professor Dr. Sudhir Saran, you have heard what Advocate Jain has mentioned, and he has very, very clearly stated that the culture or the moral values which we are imparting is lacking, and that's why we blame the new generation, but the new generation is doing the same thing what we have done with our elder generation. We would like to know from you your views on old age home, curse or boon. Professor Dr. Sudhir Saran, please.
Thank you, Mr. Goel, for giving me an opportunity to express my close heart and sincere considered opinions on this very vital topic. I also extend my greetings to my fellow panelists today. I'm sure together we will be able to give our viewers a balanced picture. With these introductory words, the theme today is old age home, and then we are having a debate or a discussion or resolution whether it is a curse or whether it is a boon. In order to understand the theme, let me propose that we draw a 2x2 model. On one hand, let us take parents. Are they willing or are they unwillingly accepting the option of old age home? On the other side, on the other axis, let us take the children. Are they, with respect, accepting the option of old age home, or lack of respect is the motivation or the cause or the reason for the old age home? So we have now a 2x2 matrix here. Let us keep this in mind, because unless we understand the issue of old age home, whether it is a curse or a boon, we will not be able to reach a solution which is first holistic, complete, 360-degree, and second, which is long-lasting in the benefit of improving the situation. To my viewers, I hope the issue has been now framed. We understand why we are sitting with you, Mr. Goel, all of us with very dedicated attitude to discuss about the theme old age home, whether it is a curse or it is a boon. Now, if the child has respect and I have accepted willingly to go to the old age home, then obviously it is a boon. The children's respect is not diluted. I have accepted it willingly, so it is a boon. Now, if the child had respect, but I accepted it unwillingly, I'm not saying who is responsible, who is to blame. That is separate part, judgmental part. Children had respect, and I was not willing, but old age home is where I am. Here will be a question. Is it a boon or is it a curse? Children were lacking respect, and I was unwilling to go to the age-old home. This is disaster. This definitely is a curse. Children were lacking respect, but I willingly went to the old age home. Then in this case, it is part curse, part boon. I hope, Mr. Goel, I at least for our viewers have now given a way of thinking so that we can reach our own answers. India is a large country, include all over the world today. Globally, it is a large population. So we are resolving the question, old age home, whether it is a curse or boon with this one. Now, the second point, second important point, as I said at the beginning, and in the last topic also, when we're talking Father's Day, I said this is one of the momentous questions that you have brought on media conference with Lal Goel. We should talk about this seriously. At some point, I may have some light moments also in this conversation, but first let us tackle the serious issues. If I am like my father, then it is a different issue. If I am like my uncle, it is a different issue. But if I am like my bua, father's sister, then it is a different issue. We are 4 brothers, 2 sisters. My uncle had 3 daughters and 2 sons. And my buaji had only 1 son and a daughter. If I look at my personal situation, I have a daughter and a son like my buaji. Now, the son was older in buaji's case. In my case, it was younger. So I wouldn't follow her model. She went, after Fufaji expired, to live with my cousin. As long as Fufaji was there, they stayed together in their own ancestral home. Whereas the daughter was married, my cousin had gone to her in-law's place, and they lived. Now, there was no concept of old age home for them. Ancestral home was the old age home, and it had a complete economic system. There were 3 male servants, 2 female servants, and they were from generations. We do not have that system anymore, anywhere in our country. As a rule, exceptions will be there. So now what has happened is, like my father, any of the 4 brothers and 2 sisters at any point were in a position to offer respect for as long as parents wanted to stay with us. It is different story that my father retired only in 74, and 10 years later he was gone. We lost him. It was a tragedy beyond description for me, but that happened. From that point on, we and my wife, we decided mother is going to stay with us. And if she visits anybody, that is a visit. But I go take her. She stays there. I go back and bring her personally. This was the arrangement we lived. Now, as our advocate Jan was saying, it is matter of which tree have you planted. We did not want to plant a babool because we knew we want to have the pleasure of having mangoes. This is one reason, Mr. Goel. I am not saying my case is ideal, but it is. At every stage, I have been thinking proactively. I was not living the decision to come to a situation where they will have to take a call. As you know, in Bangalore today, I live with my daughter, or my daughter lives with me. When I go to California for the 4 months, 5 months, I am there. Whether I am staying with him or he is staying with me is a clear question. I am staying with him. Now you see, if as parents, we have not forethought that what will be my next year and next year and next year like, old age home will be forced on me. That will be the only option if I want to save my life and dignity. Mark my words. If I want to save my life and dignity, old age home will be my only option. Whether that old age home, quote unquote home, is a street pavement, not with a standing, or a 5-star establishment, not with a standing. That is not how I think, I believe old age has to be spent. So I may have very strong views, very unorthodox views, and I'll come again back to the question. I won't digress. It is up to me to think and provide for my entire life. When the child is 2 year, 3 year old, from then on, I have to plan what examples he or she is seeing. It was not an accident. It was not necessary that my mother stayed all the while with me. In fact, we had to fight. Mama kahan rahegi? Every brother wanted, she comes and stays with them. But I said, only when I have holidays or vacations, we will visit you. Rest of the time, she is staying there. And the excuse was there that our 2 children are going, they are the youngest in the family. Their children had grown up, but our children were just growing. But that was the only excuse, Mr. Goel. It was not necessary. If I wanted, I could have happily agreed that mother stayed longer with brother in Kanpur or brother in Kasauli or brother in Banaras. So here I'm saying I did not view it as any other cause, reason, no other thing. Only thing is, I believed what Mr. Jan said. The kind of tree you plant is the kind of fruit you will have. All right. Now, in my 70s, I have option. I have a option. I will like every elderly person, irrespective of the highest economic and social position, like Mr. Singhania, whom you said, or the newspaper people which we have there. Each one of us have upon us to make sure that we control what happens to our old age. Otherwise, the moment, as Mr. Jan said, the girl is sent to her in-law's place, she is no longer in a position to give me the comfort and respect and accommodation which she wants in her heart. She will be crying, but the constants will be there. Last, I said, daughters have that. So even if they're willing, they won't be able to be any practical help to me. The son, you see, is going to be in a very funny situation. When I grew up, when I had the career time, my parents had
No.
sorry, to be financially independent, and they gave me such good education that after working for 3 years, I did not have to work for money. I had enough property built from the savings of the 3 years. You know that you have mentioned my biodata to the people. Now, if my son is struggling to make ends meet compared to his peers, and then I go in old age and add to his financial woes and demands on his time, is it human for me to expect that poor fellow, no matter how accommodating his wife is, even if she's from Delhi University, jokingly speaking? I'm not serious. I don't believe universities are to blame or the girls are to blame. You know, last time I said women are what they will be, depending what men groom them to be. Okay. So this is the crux of the situation. And if that happens, and then it becomes a no-go solution. Why I'm saying this one is, in 2012, I had an opportunity to visit my brother-in-law in a place called Valsad. I was just debating whether it was Surat or Valsad where we went. We went to Valsad. A funny thing was there in that small town, Mr. Goel. Every other apartment building was occupied and owned by an American citizen. The American citizen is in America, and it is the son or daughter who is living in that house. Either a couple, which is our age, or only father or only mother living there. All physical amenities are there. But are those people contented and satisfied with the situation, with the material well-being? No, not at all. And last time you mentioned, in some place there was a case where the mother died. She became a skeleton and the child did not know in America. You know, at least this is private arrangement for the old age. If old age homes are there, thank God, I know some well-managed one. We are not talking about the badly managed one. They are hell for the occupant, they are hell for the relatives. I'm talking about the well-managed ones. So one of my friends, very well-being, he retired as director of IIM Bangalore. And before retiring, he bought a second home in Bangalore, a old age home society. Now he is living there with himself. Sometimes his wife comes and stays. His two children are working in Bangalore. They visit him when he comes. These kind of arrangements are by choice. They have respect of the children, and therefore they are in that block which I said, boon. Anything else is a curse, Mr. Goel. So I'll conclude by saying responsibility of making old age arrangement is on us. Let us not burden our children legally or emotionally. If we truly love our children, let us think ahead and build a system where old age will be spent with dignity and with comfort. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Sudhir Saran, for giving the details. And you have given both the sides, the boon side and the curse of the old age home. But you are very, very clear that it all depends on the individual themselves, how they want their old age to be, and whether they would like to live with dignity. So they have to organize in such a way, plan their old age from the very beginning, so that this type of old age home problem should not be there. Although Professor Saran says the situation, according to the situation, if the situation demands, then we can go for the old age home and otherwise. Thank you very much, Professor Saran, for giving your views. Now, I would like to invite my next panelist guest, and he is Advocate Gagan Gandhi. Advocate Gagan Gandhi uh, is the managing partner of Niti Nyaya Law Offices, New Delhi. After doing his graduation in mathematics and statistics from St. Stephen's College, he completed his management from Faculty of Management Studies, FMS, University of Delhi. He worked in American Express Private Limited in their Risk and Information Department before he decided to do law from Faculty of Law, University of Delhi. Welcome, Advocate Gagan Gandhi, to our show. Advocate Gagan Gandhi, before I will start, I will just apologize for the comment about the Delhi University, because you are from the Delhi University, although it was in a lighter vein. But I'm sure that what Advocate Jain has mentioned was not only for the University of Delhi, means he wanted to say, because we consider, especially the North Indians consider University of Delhi is the elite university with a very all modern thinking university, quite ahead of the time. Advocate Gandhi, you have heard what Advocate Jain as well as Professor Dr. Sudhir Sarangan mentioned, and they have given the pros and cons of both sides of the advantage, disadvantage, curse or boon of old age. You being a young generation, we must say, as per the age of ours, mine or Professor Saran or Advocate Jain, we would like to know your views on old age home, curse or boon. Advocate Gagan Gandhi, please.
Thanks, Mr. Goel, for giving me this opportunity on speaking on such a vital and contemporary issue which the society is dealing with right now. And I am privileged to be part of this panel, and also privileged in the sense that I can see the other perspective, because the other two co-panelists, they have crossed that and they are on the other side of the bench. So I can correlate with their concerns, their views, their thoughts on this very important topic. But one thing which was common in both the panelists was the fact that both of them want mangoes. So we can't actually plant babul actually. So this was a common element in both the viewpoints. Now, having said that, what makes India apart from rest of the countries is the concept of family. The concept of family in India has been very different. If you closely observe, this is the land of Ram, and on just mere words, he had to leave the kingdom, which would have been his kingdom that very next morning. So we belong to such kind of, we come from this land actually. Now, having heard what Professor Sudhir was talking about, and he actually laid down in the form of a matrix, as my professor would also have done the same, to actually simplify things, and actually completely agree with the simplification of this such a complex topic in putting in that form. And he was right in the sense, when it is actually consent based, then it becomes a boon. It becomes boon for both the parties, the parents, the age-old parents, and the children. Now, I start from why we have actually children, why we create family. So these are the questions we need to be answered. So one thing is that we want to have succession. Second thing is that we need people in the sunset years to take care of us. So that is the concept of family which was there in India. So this concept may not be there in the West. They may have it because of some other reasons. But having said that, if we look at it, every society has its laws connected to its customs. Now we have a successionary law. This law actually is so dominant that it is controlling every factor in the society, whether it is domestic relationships, whether it is relationship between husband and wife, whether it is relationship between parents and children, whether it is between two brothers. So the difference is that here the state is not going to take responsibility once you are not in a position to do for yourself, which is the case in the Western society. So here we have this concept of succession. So whatever I earn, I pass it on to my next generation. So that is a thread which connects from one generation to next generation. And that is why in India we talk about generations. We do not talk about people. Like we talk about Tata, we talk about Ambanis, we talk about Birlas, we talk about Singhanias. So why we talk about the generations? Because of this very fact that it flows from one generation to the next generation. Now, having said that, the society is actually witnessing the transition. Now, this transition is the integration of the old and the new. Now, we want the fruits of the old, but we do not want to discharge the obligations of the old. So that is the convenience which we have adopted. So it could be in the any sphere, whether it is relationship between son and the father, daughter-in-law and the in-laws, or son-in-law and his in-laws. Now, rights come with duties. So we can't only be concerned about that, okay, when it comes to enjoying the benefits which I have been given in legacy, then yes, I am in for it. But when it comes to discharging my obligations, sorry, then I cannot send them to old age homes. So having said that, we witnessed very important legislation in the year 2007, which was Senior Citizen Welfare and Maintenance Act. Now, why that act had to be actually brought into by legislature was because of this very fact that the parents, they were witnessing the neglect, social, economic, emotional neglect by the children. Now, as the question which you raised was that the legislature should have the law that they cannot transfer the property during their lifetime. So I just want to actually bring to the knowledge of the viewers that this law already exists. If the transfer has taken place to the next generation and the next generation is not keeping good care of the parents, then that transaction actually can be challenged. So we already have that kind of legislation which judiciary actually interpreted so that the parents are not neglected. Now, the coming to relationship between parents and children. So parents always will be at the source of the relation. So this relationship is designed in such a manner. So they are the creators. It's not the other way around. So no matter how much neglected they feel, they will always be at the source of things. They will be at the source of creating wealth, source of creating family, source of creating expansion, source of creating love and affection, no matter what may be. So this is an implied obligation which is there in this relationship, and knowingly or unknowingly, the children have to actually pass on this. It's because of the very nature of this relationship. So now coming to the question whether it is actually the old age home is a curse or a boon. So if it was old age house, I would have said that yes, it's actually a curse. But old age home actually is a boon. Why? Because home is not the comfort. Home is not the four walls which you live in. Home is where you exist with the family. So yes, that's a boon for the society. But I think it's time we should re-Christian it as old age houses, because they are no more homes. Home is where your family stays, where you live with your near and dear ones. So these are become houses where you only get material comforts, where you only are actually passing the time. You're not creating family structure. You're not creating the legacy. You're not creating the wealth. That was the concept which India started with. So with these observations, I rest my case.
Okay, thank you very much, Advocate Gagan Gandhi, for giving views. Advocate Gagan Gandhi has mentioned about that we are in the land of Ram. But he has forgotten one thing, that Ram left the kingdom or the house or the home to give the respect of the words of the father. While here the case is different. Here the children are not respecting even the wishes or the age of or whatsoever of the elderly. They are throwing them out. So we can say we are also this land of Kans. Ravan we can't say because Ravan is on Sri Lanka, if we take it, but we also belong to the land of Kans, and we have adopted the Kans nature in us, not the Ram's nature in our thing. Although we talk about Ram, we talk very proudly, Jai Shri Ram, but the behavior, the morals which Lord Ram has shown is lacking, and that's why we are sending our parents to the old age home or old age house. He also mentioned about the earn and pass to the next generation. Yes, what? Only the money? What about the culture values? What about the education? What about the love and affection? When a mother or a father could not sleep the whole night to see that the child can sleep comfortably. If child cry, the mother cannot sleep even 1 hour or 2 hours in 24 hours. Today, is it happening with the new generation? Are they also forfeiting their sleep and only for their parents? No. They say, we have to go to the work. I have to go to the court. I have to go to the hospital. I have to go to the college. Why you are? I cannot do the work tomorrow. Please be quiet. This is the difference of the mindset which is happening. But Advocate Gagan Gandhi rightly said that we have to change, and we have to change the terminology of home to house, because we are sending them to house, not the home. And he is also of the view, although he's a young generation advocate, and he says that we must keep the family together. Then only it is a boon, because boon. But if we are sending them, it's a curse. Thank you very much, Advocate Gagan Gandhi, and I expect and hope that this new generation also think like you are thinking. Thank you very much. Now I would like to invite my next panelist guest, and he is Mr. Nimlendu Verma. Mr. Verma is a renowned social activist. He is a spokesperson of Bihar Pradesh Congress Committee. He is observer of West Champaran. He is member of Campaign Committee BPCC. He is the former member of National Working Committee Swaraj Abhiyan and Swaraj India Party. He is president of Jai Prabha Aspatal Bachao Sangharsh Morcha. He is chairman of Khadi Vastra Shilpi Kalyan evam Pension Nyas, which is under the Khadi evam Gramodog Ayog, Government of India. Welcome, Mr. Nimlendu Verma on our show. Mr. Verma, we have heard your views last week on last Sunday, where you are having बहुत ही आपके strong views थे. आप बहुत ही मुखर होके बोल रहे थे. बहुत ही ज्यादा आपने एक अपना रखा था कि ओल्ड एज होम की जब बात आ रही थी या ओल्ड एज के पीपल की बात आ रही थी, तो आपका कहना था कि क्या ये यंग जनरेशन अपने कंफर्ट्स के लिए, अपने सुख सुविधाओं के लिए किस तरह पुराने लोगों को भेज देते हैं इधर उधर, या आपने उनके संग नहीं रहना चाहते. तो आपने इसकी काफी मुखालत की थी, और आपका बड़ा मानना था कि सबको साथ में रहना चाहिए. क्यों नहीं रह सकते? जब उन्होंने रखा था बस छोटे बच्चों को, आज छोटे बच्चे जब बड़े हो जाते हैं तो क्यों नहीं रखते? आपके आने से पहले, क्योंकि आप थोड़ा ज्वाइन लेट किए थे, जो एडवोकेट जैन का कहना था कि जब बोया पेड़ बबूल का तो आम कहाँ से खाएं. उनका कहना था कि जब आपने अगर आपका मतलब है जो आज की जनरेशन है, उनको उन्होंने जो देखा था जब वो छोटे थे कि उनके माता पिता ने अपने माता पिता को रखा था, उस तरह करते हैं. डॉक्टर सुधीर सरन का कहना है कि आपकी अपने ऊपर डिपेंड करता है कि आप अपने फ्यूचर को कैसे रखना चाहते हैं, आपकी एक्सपेक्टेशंस क्या हैं, आप बच्चों से क्या चाहते हैं और क्या बच्चों को देना चाहते हैं. और एडवोकेट गगन गांधी को तो आपने सुन ही लिया, उनका तो कहना था कि रामचंद्र जी के तरह रहना चाहिए, लेकिन हम लोगों ने कंस की भूमिका निभा ली है या रावण की भूमिका निभा ली है, और वो भूल गए। हम भी हो सकते हैं या यंग जनरेशन हो सकती है कि हम लोग रामचंद्र जी और कृष्ण की नगरी से या उसकी लैंड से। आपके क्या विचार हैं? ओल्ड एज होम एक शाप है या एक वरदान है? मिस्टर निर्मलेंदु वर्मा प्लीज।
नमस्कार सारे पैनलिस्ट को। ये आपको धन्यवाद भी देता हूँ गोयल साहब कि आपने इस पर एक बार दोबारा ये मीडिया कॉन्फ्रेंस ऑर्गेनाइज किया। वाकई ये बहुत ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट चीज है। ये जनरेशंस को खराब कर रहा है ये मेंटेलिटी। तो इसके लिए आपने अगर समय निकाला है तो बढ़िया काम किया है, इसके लिए मैं विशेष धन्यवाद देता हूँ आपको। इसके दोनों पक्ष हैं गोयल साहब। एक तो ये एक तरफ अभिशाप भी है, एक तरफ वरदान भी। अब आप बोलेंगे कि दोनों कैसे हैं? जिन लोगों को, जो लोग अपना घर नहीं छोड़ना चाहते, जो अपने बच्चों के साथ रहना चाहते हैं, उनको जबरदस्ती बिल्कुल अबंडन कर दिया जा रहा है और उनको ओल्ड एज होम भेजा जा रहा है। तो उनके लिए तो अभिशाप है, ये एक पक्ष हो गया। लेकिन जब किसी ने सोच ही लिया है कि अबंडन ही कर देना है, इनको छोड़ ही देना है, फिर वो बेचारे कहां जाएंगे? तो वहां अगर कोई ओल्ड एज होम है तो वो उनके लिए वरदान बनता है, क्योंकि कुछ ना कुछ केयर तो उनका हो पा रहा है। तो ये दोनों पक्ष है। अब रह गई बात ये कि ये वरदान है या अभिशाप है, ये आपने चर्चा का विषय बनाया जरूर है, लेकिन उससे पहले मैं आपको उसके तरफ ले जाना चाहता हूं जो अपने करियर की बात करके अपने पेरेंट्स को छोड़ देते हैं। तो करियर के लिए अगर पेरेंट्स को छोड़ना ही होता तो करियर के लिए पेरेंट्स ने अपने बच्चों को नहीं छोड़ दिया होता, उनको भी तो करियर बनाना होता है। क्या हमारे जनरेशन में जो हमारे पेरेंट्स के एज के जो लोग थे, वो महिलाएं ऑफिस नहीं जाती थी, स्कूल टीचर नहीं हुआ करती थी, वो अपने बच्चों को कहां छोड़ देती थी? उनके बच्चे जब बीमार पड़ते थे तो क्या वो रात नहीं जगती थी और अगले दिन स्कूल भी जाती थी? देखिए, ये सिर्फ और सिर्फ आजादी की लड़ाई है आज के मूर्ख जनरेशन को। उनको पूरी आजादी चाहिए, उनको और कुछ नहीं चाहिए, उनको कोई रोकने टोकने वाला नहीं चाहिए। वो 2 बजे रात में पार्टी से लौटेंगे, माँ बाप अगर घर में होगा तो पूछेगा ही, उसका अधिकार भी है और उनकी कर्तव्य भी है, उनकी ड्यूटी भी है। तो वो रोक टोक जो पसंद नहीं करने वाला जनरेशन है, वो अपने करियर की दुहाई दे करके अपने माँ बाप को छोड़ना चाहता है। कोई कहीं कोई जरूरत नहीं है माँ बाप को छोड़ने की। अगर आज का जनरेशन ये चाह ले तो जिस फ्लैट में वो रह रहा है उस फ्लैट में पेरेंट्स भी रह सकते हैं। मैं ये भी नहीं कहता हूं कि बिल्कुल ही आप नौकरी छोड़ करके अपने माँ बाप के घर के पास ही रहो, उसी घर में रहो। ठीक है, मजबूरी है, हो सकता है कहीं आपका ट्रांसफर हो गया। जैसे आप अपने बच्चों को साथ ले जाते हैं, वैसे ही आप अपने पेरेंट्स को साथ ले जाइए। पेरेंट्स को छोड़ देते हैं, इसका मतलब आप अपने बच्चों से अलग समझते हैं ना, अलग प्यार कर रहे हैं ना, बच्चों को ज्यादा प्यार कर रहे हैं क्योंकि वो आपकी जिम्मेवारी है। पेरेंट्स तो आपकी जिम्मेवारी है नहीं। और दूसरे तरफ पेरेंट्स के कमाए हुए धन पर आपकी नजर तो जरूर रहती है। उस समय करियर आपको नहीं रोकता है। वो फ्लैट अगर बिकना हो, वो जमीन बिकना हो, तो रजिस्ट्री करने के लिए आपके पास टाइम मिल जाता है, उसका आगे सिग्नेचर करना पड़ता है, उसके लिए पूरा टाइम आपके पास होता है क्यों? पैसे आने हैं। ये आज के जनरेशन की बदतमीजी। और मैं कह रहा हूं कि ऐसे लोगों का सामाजिक बहिष्कार होना चाहिए। उनके यहां किसी फंक्शन में लोगों को नहीं जाना चाहिए। पहले के लोग ना पूछते थे आपके घर आकर के कि अंकल कैसे हैं, आंटी कैसे हैं। अब लोगों ने पूछना ही बंद कर दिया, उनको पता है कि अंकल आंटी यहाँ है ही नहीं, और जो नई माता है उनको भी पसंद नहीं है। तो चक्कर ये है कि ये जो आज की युवा पीढ़ी है उसकी बदतमीजियों का ये फल है कि पेरेंट्स को ओल्ड एज होम जाना पड़ रहा है। और वो तो आप समझ लीजिए कि ओल्ड एज होम क्या है, वो तो एक तरह से समझिए कि वो उनको मार ही दिया जा रहा है। आप सोचिए कि जिस बच्चे के कारण रात भर आदमी नहीं सोता था तो उसको कोई तकलीफ नहीं है, चाहे वो बच्चा छोड़ भी दे तो क्या वो माँ उस बच्चे को छोड़ पाती है क्या, वो फादर उस बच्चे को छोड़ पाते हैं क्या दिल से, कभी नहीं छोड़ पाते हैं। और उनके पास नहीं रह करके न रहने दो दिया जाता है उनको, इसके कारण उनका तो समझिए कि उनकी हत्या ही हो जाती है। जीते जी मारना एक शब्द, उनको जीते जी मार दिया जाता है। तो मेरा ये कहना है कि इसके लिए आपके जैसे और हमारे सारे जो पैनलिस्ट मित्र हैं उनके जैसे बुद्धिजीवियों को ना एक सोशल मूवमेंट करना चाहिए, और करना ही चाहिए। सती प्रथा के खिलाफ इसके लिए किया, ये करना चाहिए कि अगर तुम माँ बाप को साथ नहीं रखोगे तो तुम्हारा सामाजिक बहिष्कार हो जाएगा, और समाज से बड़ा कोर्ट और कोई नहीं है। अगर समाज ने बहिष्कार कर दिया, वो बर्थडे पार्टी मनाएंगे किसके बीच, वो बेटी की शादी करेंगे किसके बीच, तो कोई जाए नहीं, बोले नहीं इस माँ बाप के साथ नहीं रहता। देखिए लाख परेशानी हो, आप कहोगे कि ठीक है जी उन दोनों के बीच बनता नहीं है। अरे भाई तो आपने भी तो अपने बचपन में बड़ी बदमाशियां की होंगी, तो उन्होंने तो घर से आपको नहीं निकाल दिया। ये बहुत छोटा सा बात है कि एक मत भिन्नता हो सकती है। आप मत भिन्नता की दुहाई देकर के भी, एक तो करियर की दुहाई है, दूसरा मत भिन्नता की दुहाई, मत भिन्नता की दुहाई देकर के माँ बाप को छोड़ ही न छोड़ सकते हैं। माँ बाप को कैसे छोड़ सकते हैं, वो जाएंगे कहा। आप सोचिए जिन्होंने पूरी जिंदगी आपके लिए लगा दी, मैं तो समझता हूँ बाप अपने इनकम का 20% भी अपने ऊपर नहीं खर्च करता है। मैंने हमारे जनरेशन के बाप ऐसे ही करते, और ये हम लोगों के जनरेशन तक मेंटेन। लेकिन उस पेरेंट्स को आप छोड़ रहे हैं जिसने पूरी जिंदगी आपके लिए लगा दी, और उसके बाद आप तरह तरह की बातें कर रहे हैं कि उनको तो करियर नहीं बनाना है, ये नहीं करना, कुछ वो सब बात नहीं। सिर्फ बात यह है आजादी चाहिए, और उस आजादी के लिए ये तरह तरह के बहाने बनाए जाते हैं। गोयल साहब ये समाज के लिए बहुत ज्यादा खराब है, वो परिवार ही अभिशप्त हो जाता है। एक बात और जान लीजिए, मैंने थोड़ा इससे आगे भी मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ, भेज तो देते हैं, ओल्ड एज होम भेज देते, मजबूरी में भेज देते, घर में नहीं झेल पाते इसलिए भेज देते, ऐसा लोग कहते हैं। वो लड़का कम से कम कभी सुखी नहीं रह पाता, कहीं ना कहीं कभी ना कभी तो याद आती है। जब आती है तो वो कभी सुखी नहीं रह सकता है बिना पेरेंट्स के आशीर्वाद के। इस धरती के लिविंग गॉड वही, उनके आशीर्वाद के बिना तो कुछ हो ही नहीं सकता। आपने बहुत अच्छी चर्चा की भगवान श्री राम की। आज नाच लगा करके मस्जिद पर लोग चढ़ जाते हैं तलवार लेकर के, वो भगवान श्री राम का अगले दिन सुबह में राज्याभिषेक था, सिर्फ फादर के विश के कारण, मदर के विश के कारण। और देखिए क्या मोरालिटी का हाई लेवल था, ओन मदर भी नहीं, और फिर भी मदर की माता कहती, उनके विश के कारण वो वन को चले। तो वो लेवल था, कहां हम उनको बदनाम कर रहे हैं, तो हम उनको बेचने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। यहां पर ये है कि उनसे सीखने की जरूरत, उनसे सीखने की जरूरत ये है कि अगर लाइफ में सबसे ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट कोई विश है तो वो पेरेंट्स का विश। हालांकि उनके धरती पर आने का ये भी वही था, लेकिन अगर पेरेंट्स का विश आप पूरा करते हैं, आप ऐसे भी सुखी रहेंगे। मैं आपसे एक बार फिर गुजारिश करता हूं कि धीरे धीरे एक एक करके सोशल बाइकआउट शुरू कीजिए, ओल्ड एज होम से वापस लोग होम में चले आएंगे। थैंक यू।
Thank you, Mr. Verma. Although your network was not up to the mark, but what point you have made is that those who are not keeping their parents with them, that the person should be socially boycotted. It's a very, very strong statement you have given. But yes, at least the law, as Advocate Gandhi says, the law is there, but why the law to be used when we can change the mindset of the society, and that the society should treat them as inferior or someone untouchable who are not keeping their parents with them. Thank you very much, Mr. Nirmalendu Verma, for giving your views. Now, my question goes to Dr. Sudhir Saran, again as a devil's advocate. Why these senior citizens or the elderly people have expectation from the young generation? Professor Dr. Sudhir Saran, the children never wanted to come on the earth. Who brought them? This is the responsibility of the elders to take care of them, but not the responsibility of the younger to take care of the elders. They have not asked you to come, bring them to this on this earth. So why you have expectation that they will take care when a person become old? What you say about this, Professor Dr. Sudhir Sir?
The expectation is a very big envelope. Lots of things are in the envelope. Let's pull them out one by one, and your question will be answered both in the normal way and the devil's advocate way. If I'm expecting that my daughter gives me a birthday gift, if I'm expecting that my son sends me a birthday cake, if I'm expecting that my wife gives me a birthday bouquet, if I'm expecting Nirmalendu to send me a kurta on my birthday, if I'm expecting that you call me on my birthday, all of these are expectations. But these are all less material and more emotional, mutual expectations. The trouble comes when we have material expectations of the children, because we were of modest means, our children are of very affluent means, and the children do not want to reciprocate or oblige me, then those expectations are contentious. And that has a different chemistry of it. What I will say is, expectations between the parents and the children are more emotional and biological. And children will have very little hardship, so to say, to meet expectation. When Manuji calls morning, evening, and we see our granddaughter, I think all our expectations are more than fulfilled, Mr. Goel. I think most parents will be like that only. So I don't think there is any problem meeting the expectations. The problem is somewhere else. Like Nirmalendu saying, they are looking for uchrinkhal azadi, not azadi. Uchrinkhalta karne ke liye azadi. Jhamela wahan hota hai. So we have to set it right if we want society to remain healthy. Because when the generations degenerate, as our friend Gandhiji will agree, then successions are poor quality, and then there is no stopping. We become a very bad society where there is a lot of a stink and bad, vibe. We should not be reasonable people to let that happen passively. We must take action to prevent it. So begin by respecting parents emotionally, even if we are not able to give them anything materially. I can compromise and tell myself that they are not giving me material things, but the moment they give the emotional one, the parents are built that way. They work the whole night to keep them healthy, just because in the old times, they will smile and say, I respect you, touch our feet if the culture allows, hug me if the culture allows. That's more than enough.
Thank you, Professor Saran, for giving answer. We know that you are also a senior citizen like me, and we have to keep our children also happy, so that our old age should not be in the old age home. Otherwise, we all are sitting on a very, very fence. Tomorrow, we don't know what is going to happen. Thank you very much. Now, my question goes to Advocate Gagan Gandhi. Advocate Gagan Gandhi, in Western countries, where the senior citizens, all the parents, they plan everything in advance. They make they contribute if because it's a social security is already there. We are talking of USA, but if they want to live in a beach house or in a hill station, they get it done through their own funds, and then they stay together with their own company. They want to enjoy drink, they want to enjoy coffee in the morning, they want to sing a song or dance, whatnot. What is the harm to have such types of old age homes? We in India, we always blame the Western culture. We say the Western culture is bad, but we have to learn something from there. They also have a good things, but we take it that old age is curse. It's not a curse. After all, today Professor Saran wants to talk to the persons who are equivalent in the not only physically but mentally also with him, so that they can spend good time. He cannot talk to a immature person. So why we always say it's a curse? I think old age homes are boon. What you say about this, Advocate Gandhi?
No, I agree. I agree that old age homes are boons, but old age houses are curse. That is what my submission is. And it will always remain a curse to the society. I remember when Nirbhaya took place in Delhi, everybody was talking that, is this the nation which we are creating? But when anybody is thrown out, when any old parents are thrown out of the home, why can't we have the candle march? Why can't we sit at India Gate? Why can't we see such kind of an outburst? Are they less important for the society, or have they played their role and they are done with it? No, why can't we have such kind of an outburst in the society? Why then is the nation not under threat if we are doing that? Is the nation safe when we are throwing them out of the home just because their thought process and my thought process does not match, as Mr. Vimlendu was talking about? Just because they cannot technologically integrate with me, they become lesser mortals on this planet? They have created me, they have created us. So they are the creators. How can they be less? They will always be supreme. Now, coming to the concept which we may borrow from the West, yes, there is no harm as long as your family is intact. You can enjoy, you can go to beach houses, you can stay, you can spend your time. There's no problem. But the problem only starts when actually your family is not being your family is not accepting. So then it's become a situation of either or. So I am in for and situation. Yes, both can coexist. You can play cards, you can drink, you can marry. Yes, but at the same time, your family should be there. They should accept you, but not at the cost of your family. Not you are seeing it as an alibi that, okay, now my family has rejected, so I will start searching in the old age, so-called old age homes. I will start searching for happiness by playing cards. I will start searching happiness by actually playing with the other old couple. That is not what he created this family for. So understand the concept of family, why he created the family at first instance, as you rightly pointed out, that there was no need to bring them into existence. But he brought him in, they brought them into existence because that is the fabric which unites. Now you are questioning the fabric of the society. You're questioning, why did you bring me into existence? Sorry, boss, I did not bring you into existence for actually throwing me out. Like what happened to Professor Kurian Varghese. My Professor Sudhir will explain better than anybody else. No, he created that. He may be right or wrong. Parents cannot never be right or wrong. So he's creating with his wisdom. The parents are creating this society, family with his wisdom. So whatever is best suited, whatever he is optimizing the resources available at that point of time. But that does not mean that one day just because you have become technologically savvy, just because you know a few more laws at your disposal, it does not entitle you that you will throw them out one day.
Okay, thank you very much. Very, very strong views of Advocate Gandhi. ओके, मेरा प्रश्न है निर्मलेंदु जी से, अभी आपने कहा बच्चे को तो हमने संग में रखा था, अब वो बड़े हो गए तो पेरेंट्स को नहीं रखते। जब छोटा बच्चा था वो तो उसको क्या पता था कि वो तो छोटा था, उसको तो कुछ नॉलेज थी नहीं, उसको तो आप रखना था, मजबूरी थी बच्चे की। अब आप बड़े हैं, रात भर खांसते रहते हैं, आप सोचते नहीं है कि वो बच्चा एक उसके बच्चे एग्जाम की तैयारी कर रहे हैं या उसकी कल बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट ऑफिस पर मीटिंग है और आप पूरी रात खांसेंगे, छोटा सा घर है, तो क्या करे वो बेचारा, उसको तो आपको ओल्ड एज होम में भेजना ही पड़ेगा निर्मलेंदु जी। अब आप कहोगे कि नहीं खांसने पे तो खांसने में क्या दिक्कत है, अरे जब बच्चा छोटा था वो रोता था, उसको नहीं पता था कि वो रो रहा है, वो छोटा था। अब आप बड़े हो, आप खांस रहे हो रात भर, बच्चे को दिक्कत हो रही है, ग्रैंड चिल्ड्रन को कल एग्जाम है, उसका कल बहुत बड़ा एक प्रोजेक्ट है, या उसको आर्गुमेंट करना है सुप्रीम कोर्ट में चीफ जस्टिस के सामने, वो तैयारी करेगा या आपकी खांसी देखेगा रात भर? क्या दिक्कत है अगर आपको पेरेंट्स को भेज दिया ओल्ड एज होम में? वर्मा जी। वर्मा जी।
माफ कीजिएगा गोयल साहब, बुरा नहीं मानेंगे आप, आज आप यूरोपियन टाइप बात कर रहे हैं।
मैंने आपसे कहा कि मैं डेविल्स एडवोकेट की तरह बात करूंगा, आप जो बोलेंगे मैं उल्टी बात कुछ।
आपने जो शरण साहब से भी प्रश्न किया वो भी ऑब्जेक्शनेबल था, जो एडवोकेट गांधी से भी किया वो भी हाईली ऑब्जेक्शनेबल था, और जो मुझसे पूछा वो भी हाईली ऑब्जेक्शनेबल है। भाड़ में जाए प्रोजेक्ट और जहन्नुम में जाए प्रोजेक्ट बनाने वाला। जिस यूरोपियन टाइप बात आज कर रहे हैं गोयल साहब आप, मैं आपको एक यूरोपियन की बात कहता हूं, बड़ा वैसे तो आधा वहां दिमाग से पैदल ही होते हैं, लेकिन एक बड़ा बुद्धिमान यूरोपियन दोस्त था हमारा, जिसके बारे में लोग कहते थे कि इसको 10 में 10 नंबर है। वो कहता था कि निर्मलेंदु, डू यू नो व्हाट इज द ब्यूटी ऑफ इंडियन सोसाइटी? आई आस्क्ड व्हाट, टेल मी प्लीज। बोला कि द ग्रैंड सन टेक्स केयर ऑफ द ग्रैंडफादर, इवन वी डू नॉट टेक केयर ऑफ आवर ओन फादर। ये है ब्यूटी हमारे इंडियन कल्चर की सर, और इसके सामने कोई प्रोजेक्ट, कोई पढ़ाई, कोई कुछ नहीं होता है। और अगर आप कॉमर्शियल भाषा में उसको समझना चाहते हैं तो आज के जनरेशन के जितने बिग शॉट्स हैं, सरकार समेत जो नेशनल लेवल पर हर मिनिस्ट्री एडवाइजर रखती है, और हर कॉर्पोरेट एडवाइजर रखता है। क्या आपको किसी लाइफ एडवाइजर की जरूरत नहीं है, किसी होम एडवाइजर की जरूरत नहीं है? जिंदगी कैसे चलेगी बताएगा कौन? कैसे वो लोग हैं जो दिवाली मना लेते हैं? मैं पूरे साल खुश रहता हूं, होली और दिवाली के दिन दुखी हो जाता हूं कि अम्मा पापा है नहीं, अब होली और दिवाली क्या मनाई जाए, और लोग जीते जी जाकर के ओल्ड एज होम में पहुंचा देते हैं।
जी जी जी,
यूरोपियन
वर्मा जी मैं रोकना चाहूंगा, समय का अभाव है।
दिया जाए गोयल साहब, आई एम सो सॉरी, लेकिन मैं बता रहा हूं कि अगर कॉमर्शियल भाषा में भी समझेंगे तो उससे बड़ा कोई एडवाइजर नहीं है। जो ऑनररी है उसको भगवान तो नहीं है, लेकिन भगवान के बाद उनको संभाल के रखिए और अपने जनरेशंस को कहिए। मैं एडवोकेट गांधी की बातों से सहमत हूं कि कैंडल मार्च निकालिए, उसके घर का घेराव कीजिए, उसको पानी कीजिए। देखिए कि कैसे हमारे जो एजेड लोग हैं वो उसमें आ जाएगा। और आपकी बात अगर है तो आप डांस करवाना चाहते हैं तो सीनियर खोल दीजिए। थैंक यू।
ओके, थैंक यू वेरी मच। So viewers, you have seen today, after all, we are as one of the panelists said, we are the land of Ram. Why we can't become Ram? But if we can't become Ram, we should not become Kans or Ravan. Why we are throwing our elderly people out? They have sacrificed their life. They have done what they have done in their life, struggled. They have eaten half of the chapati or roti or half of the rice to fill the stomach of the children. They have sent for the education. They spend the money for the education of a child who has become a CEO of a big company in the USA. Doesn't mean that he will not take care of their parents and send them to the old age home. Is this our culture? Even in Western countries, even if they are staying in the old age home, the concept which Advocate Gandhi mentioned about the home and the house is there. They go there, they visit them. But in our country, many cases, and in the opening I said that I read the newspaper report yesterday, which clearly says that they've thrown them out. And viewers, yesterday we were observing the International Widows Day. And I know personally what is the condition in India, how the mothers who become widow were thrown away from the house and leave them at Kashi and Vrindavan just to be begging there. The same mother which we worship during the Navdurgas, where our culture is going. We have to change the mindset. Then only we can say that we can become Wish Guru. We cannot become Wish Guru if we cannot give respect to our elders and we send them to the old age home. So in my personal opinion, they are cursed, not at all boon. We should not think about following the culture, about the Western culture, unless we change the culture of our own and make them to stay with us. In case if there is very difficult situation, if there is no children, even if they are going to a old age home, they should be treated with dignity, not with the conditions which are happening in our country. So thank you very much. And today's program has been live telecasted by V4 News, Karu News, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV India, News Gaon se Samvad Sarokar News, Bharat Post News, Gyan, as well as it was shown live on Facebook and YouTube. And our endeavor to bring to you every day new topic. And tomorrow being a thought leadership series in a media conference with Lal Goel. Tomorrow our topic is, because tomorrow is on the day which is the International Day observing for the drugs impact. So tomorrow our topic is impact of drugs on society. It's a thought leadership series, and my thought leader tomorrow is Dr. Ruxana Hassan, renowned psychologist, trainer, coach, motivational speaker, special educator for early childhood education and development from Bangalore. She will be giving the answers to my questions under the thought leadership series. So thank you very much, Professor Dr. Sudhir Saran. Thank you very much, Advocate Gagan Gandhi. Thank you very much, Mr. Nimlendu Verma. I am not against your views, but I have to ask, and I want to see the anger not only in you, but the young generation like Advocate Gagan Gandhi. And this has to carry forward to everyone. Yes, you are rightly said, we have to boycott those persons who are throwing them away, throwing their parents to elderly homes or the old age home. And thank you, Advocate Jain, and wish that you will be perfectly all right. And thank you all the viewers, and I am sure that today's program is very much enlightening you. And if you are watching our show, or you are going to watch our show, please see to it that you will not throw away your parents. Parents are real. They are the gods on this earth. We have not seen a God, but we have seen our parents. Thank you very much. Thank you all the viewers for watching our show.